for emergency status. I don't really know, but I could imagine that would be true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, and if they, don't get funded, which I find highly unlikely, I think it's going to get funded somehow. We're probably going to see some Marie Antoinette type person, still try and spin it. Like they don't care about us, and all they want to do is use us and so forth.
Yeah.
Which like we're saying is true, but it will be spun the opposite way,
Right.
which they've already started doing. I've saw this one meme where this, not meme, but a video where one of the congressmen / women for Democrat side was walking around saying, "Where's all the Republicans?" And it's probably on a Saturday and weekend came in and did that video and made fun of it. But we all know that the Democrats have refused to fund this because they want to get their Obamacare funded, and that last intermittent funding was they agreed to it, but this time they haven't. So something is going on. So, and who's controlling this? That's what remains to be seen.
And any like Marxist, communist, the whole movement of the left, like under Obama, I forget his name, was it Rahm Emanuel or one of those guys who would say that every chaos is an opportunity for us to increase control. Yeah. And I know you've seen this overseas where the chaos creates an environment where people will accept sort of a dictatorship or whatever. And I think that's what the demons have been pushing for a long time from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's how their dad operates. So kids are like their father.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we'll move on and probably see this happen in some way, somehow. We got the federal funds rate just got slashed again, quarter point.
Oh, okay.
So the pirates have basically said it's okay, you can yo ho ho go out there and get a lower loan, which no one's getting loans these days,
right?
Unless you got like unbelievable high levels of credit. So that's one of the things that the Federal Reserve, which needs to go away, the Democrat Party, which needs to go away. They're all criminals. To me, they're all criminals, and this is just another way that everybody's seeing that they're criminals. Another
indicator. I know your folks are. That's for sure because you're on it. But it's on a practical level. Because I feel
1 in 8 Americans are on food stamp.
Unreal.
What's going on with that?
It's one of those dark side created secrets, created mysteries. How they sort of steal money from people who have, and create like a need by giving away little crumbs to people who don't want to do anything with their lives, and then they cut them off, and they're always creating this like chaos. Because I come from a place that basically says if you're not willing to work, you don't get to eat. And so it's hard for me, even though I have compassion on people that need help.
Sure.
I'll give you an example. Like, so when I used to go in and just kind of study in federal court, I think I told you the story about the woman who was convicted. She was like 85 and apparently full of cancer. And she was convicted of like 7 or 8 felony counts of welfare fraud, somewhere in the tune of like $500,000.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it was her sentencing hearing that I got to sit in on. And I was just like, okay, this is like a corrupt mindset, like a victim mindset that's developed, that the left really loves, that the father of the enemy really loves to develop, because it's not creative, it's not intuitive, It's just dark. And here there's what, like, is it 30, 40 million people that may not be able to eat? And so so they've maybe created an automatic internal rebellion right there. Just
Yeah,
because,
that's what started the French Revolution. People didn't have any food, and so they rebelled, and so they took down the government. They took down the elite because they had who was it? The queen at the time.
yeah, that's right.
She was like, "Let them eat cake." And but when we look at that, really, because it sounds really bad. Of course, they like spin everything, which the Democrats are doing right now. They're spinning that this is all Republicans' fault because they want like give them, you know, trillions of dollars, I guess, for you know, health care, which is like again corrupt, right?
Yes, yes,
So and back then, they're like, you know, cake was like unleavened flour or something, and so you still got not bread like leavened bread where it would like, you know, fluff up,
right,
but it would you still have a cake like a,
right.
you know, just a plain you know, unfluffed, you know, piece of bread or whatever. So that's what she meant, and so they spun that in a certain direction. So we're seeing the same thing happening right now. The Democrats won't vote for, and I think this is part of you know, reveal on both sides. You know, we're seeing that the Republicans are like, hey, we want to feed people. You guys have created most of these programs.
Yeah,
We don't want them to starve and, you know, riot and cause chaos, which they will on the November 1st, which they've already said they will if they don't get their money for their food, which is, I guess, understandable. Same thing, you know. So we'll continue to see this, you know, back and forth, back and forth. I think that the Republicans, even though the Democrats won't vote for the SNAP program, I think the Republicans are going to find a way to fund it, just like they found a way to fund the military. It's like it's crazy to me
yeah.
where
You mentioned,
billionaires have stepped in and like have funded the military. Like what? So we'll probably see the same thing in the last minute.
yeah, yeah. It probably would be easy. You know, we like, there's a couple of things I want to show about Gavin, like how they manipulate funding and steal funding, and so I'm like, there has to be a way, at least a temporary answer. But I'm sort of the opinion, Michael, that like even on a local basis, so everybody has to live within a county, right? So okay, you get X amount of food benefits, but you got to show up for work somewhere. Period. Like it's going to be conditioned upon a performance. Like, you know, if you and I don't show up, we don't go crying to the Democrats to feed us. It's just it's just insane. It so like makes me crazy because I'm like, I'm maybe not as compassionate as I could be, like because I also think that like this empathy that we have that's natural, we care about people, we love our neighbors and each other. But that empathy has been weaponized to a degree
Right.
where we have to feel sorry for people that the left is using to kill us with or to steal from us with. And you know, and then on a practical level, it could be a problem. You take your baby to the store, and like as a mom, or even like even as you and I, you might have to watch out, being yellow all the time, for people who might just come and knock you out and steal your groceries or whatever.
Well, that'll happen this weekend if they don't pass some kind of funding.
Yeah,
And so that again, that's exposing the Democrats. So they'll probably get it all the way to the point where we go into the weekend. So we'll have, you know, Halloween, which is basically sacrifice day for the deep state. So, uh, and
yes,
so that's why we don't celebrate it, but some people will because they think it's fun. But anyway, we're going to go into November 1st, and that's if there's no funding for the SNAP program, then people don't get the money. And like I said, there's people that are already out on the internet saying that go get your food, steal it,
yeah,
and if you go to the ATM machine, they're going to steal from you. You're going to hold you up in a parking lot. You're going to come out of Walmart. with your groceries, and they're going to come in just like gang. You're going to gang, probably even go into Walmarts,
Yeah.
on massive levels all over the country. So I would recommend, if we don't see some kind of passing of the SNAP program bill or funding for it, I would highly recommend not going out this weekend for anything. Get your food, hunker down, and stand by to get seek.
I've never seen it once in a politician like talking about responsibility. So yeah.
And that that's a good point. So if they don't vote for it all the way into their sacrifice day, October 31st, then that's basically a point that they could, I would say, they could use to basically seize these people and put them through a military tribunal, because they're a threat to the nation.
National security threat.
That's a national security threat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could be where it's being pushed. So who knows? So there's lots of other things we're going to cover. Germany kills 500,000 birds. Is there bird flu going on?
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen on this one.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Still pushing the bird flu stuff. Where here in the United States, when President Trump came in, they were like, remember how they were killing all the chickens, and the egg prices were like going through the roof. They're like tripling, doubling, quadrupling.
Yeah.
And then 10xing. It was insane. And then President Trump comes in, and magically it all stops.
Magically, like overnight, it stops.
Yep, overnight.
And so then, a couple weeks later, like eggs are plentiful, like unbelievable. And back down to the original.
Good old chickens. Thank you, chickens. All right. We just,
this
just got to get to the point, because they were paying people to like dispose of their bird herds or flocks, whatever you call them, flocks. So they would pay them like millions of dollars. Yeah, they'd come in, it's like do the old nose swab. Oh, they're all sick. You got to get rid of all of them. One sick, that means all of them sick. But that was just. Can I look at that? No. You can't look at that. We're the authority here, and you have to get rid of them. But we'll pay you to get rid of them, so it'll be okay.
And so, how do you do like a PCR nasal swab on a bird? I don't know, whatever they're doing, maybe a blood test or whatever. But
yeah, whatever it is.
So here's like more stupidity, but this is fascinating. I wanted to like touch on this with everybody. So the first thing, that I do, because of the quantum forensics, because of the image, the photon image, is like, so we throw this thing in the clinic and we test it. And this is going to blow you away, because you and I just tested some really cool stuff just a couple of days ago together. And that was really cool. Maybe we can talk about that. But there is not one infection in any of these birds, you guys. They just killed these guys. Like all these geese,
same in the U.S.,
turkeys, whatever they are, or ducks. Yeah, there's not an infection in here. So this is complete fraud. I'm almost thinking, like, what are they doing? They show up. My son even mentioned it, because he raised chickens. They'll come by and they say, oh, they'll maybe take a swab. Then a couple of days later, they go, oh, you tested positive, so we're coming in and we're going to kill your entire herd. You don't have a say in it. If there's a bird that's supposedly infected, we're coming in and killing your entire herd. Obviously, that's probably what happened here. But they talk about it in terms of really interesting. According to the outbreaks are being caused by the highly infectious H5N1 strain and some other influenza virus common. But so they're talking about all this baloney about how they've sort of, maybe, here it is, suspected cases are currently being investigated. All right, that's the swab, and they go and they do their powwow and they smoke their stuff, and then they come back and say, yeah, there's infection everywhere. But so right down here, because we've talked about this many times, the Robert Koch Institute says, yeah, we haven't seen any, we're not aware of any of it. We haven't seen anything. Now, this is a German, like a government agency, but still it's fascinating. So they talk about the baloney. They talk about, oh, it's so bad, we're killing 500,000 birds, and then the premier institute, at least it was in the past, Robert Koch, says we haven't seen anything. So I just want to point that out to you, just the ongoing fraud. But maybe the biggest thing is we test this and it's like no infection, you guys. And we did this with COVID with all the images and stuff, and like only a couple percent actually looked like they had tuberculosis to me in the test. And we could just reach into the store and, fix it. So here's another one that you guys may have heard of. This monkey infected with COVID and sexually transmitted viruses. The truck flipped over and the monkey got out, and they're kind of rabid. And so I wanted to point this out because these monkeys, these rhesus monkeys, have been the star player for biological weapons research for decades. And this is where they actually groomed and developed the AIDS and other viruses in rhesus monkeys in biolabs in Africa, which is where, guess where the AIDS and the Ebola and all that stuff show up, right? So they groom these monkeys. And so here's this monkey that supposedly gets out of a truck that flips, and he's aggressive. So watch out, and we're watching out for him. He has COVID, hepatitis C, and herpes, and are aggressive to humans. I guess the thing I wanted to say about that is, so how does this monkey get these designer supposed viruses? Well, they're lab created, and also all of the.
Why would they be taken out of a lab if they're that infected? This is this is monkey business.
Pun intended. Yeah. So it's like, this is insanity. And like that raises so many questions. Like, so here's the Jasper County Sheriff's Department, reporting this, but like, so where are all the arrests? You and I, we couldn't even sell raw milk without getting like SWAT teams. So like nothing, right? So it's really baloney. It's all marketing, you guys. Aggressive monkey, he's probably really ticked off because he is sick, and he's sick and tired of being messed around with inside of a lab. And every animal and men and women would both be like super irritated and want to get free. And so that's all that it is, that these monkeys aren't sick and they're not contagious. I mean, I'm not saying they couldn't be in these bioweapons labs, but just want to show this happened. Like, we saw this just months ago, where it was like a whole truckload of monkeys that the truck flipped over and the monkeys got out, right? Remember that?
It's like an ongoing thing. It's like it's so random. I think that happened in South Carolina or something. But they were highly contagious. And why would you transport contagious anything in a truck when you have that potential of it rolling over? Because you want it to roll over and like have this escape and create some kind of mass hysteria.
Yeah, it almost makes sense that you have to. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Part of the hysteria, and creates more fear in us, and just that with that fear, they can have more control. So, I hate to talk about it, but I just want people to be aware. These lies and this fear factor is always an ongoing thing, and any new things we want to try to bring to you guys, as much as I hate it. But yeah, so, and I can just move right into this. Like, it was this whistleblower. I think he was on Tucker's show, and he talks about that. I think in this program, and I wanted to point this out, that he basically said there was like 100 bioweapons labs. You and I have talked about dozens, but this guy talked about like maybe being 100, and that's like unbelievable. And the relationship between, here's the deep state and its alliance with China. So we know that this is the Fauci thing and all the stuff we've been talking about. But I guess I wasn't aware that there was like that many of those that are government funded or deep state funded. And so like Dr. Gibbs pointed out, that we'll probably be saying this forever, forgive me for my repetition, where Dr. Gibbs said that there is nothing new, you guys. There's no new viruses. And if they are new, they have to come out of a lab, because the the unseen world changes is so slow. Things just don't mutate into new stuff that fast. And that was his point in assuming virology is true, that even if you have a virus, it just doesn't change very rapidly. It takes a long time for it to do anything new or significant. And they talk about recombinants and stuff like that. So all those are to speed things up in the laboratory. So anyway.
So 100 U.S. China bioweapons labs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible. And many of those are, of course, worldwide. I'll go ahead and come back to you so I can see you. But like we've talked about those in Ukraine,
right?
Africa has a bunch. But like that monkey thing, it's like being transferred from one university to another. So a lot of the research universities in the continental US are bioweapons status. And they're doing research that probably most likely is illegal. And we have information that a lot of those aren't even authorized to be, weapons grade for biolab 4s and 5s status, so that they can really protect these concoctions, these weapons being made and played with, all under the marketing that we're going to protect you guys in case one of these gets released. So this is like pure evil to me, Michael.
Oh, totally. And they're, according to somebody in the chat, they're still culling birds in upstate New York.
Yep. And I can't help but to wonder. So a lot of times, we've talked about this many times. So you have your vaccine routine, and it could be random. Like they could just slip in some pneumonia or TB in a vax, and your whole herd is gone, just devastated, just gone. It spreads so fast, and they're all contained in these like highly concentrated herds, and it's mostly in those areas. And so if you have your own chickens, they'll probably never get sick.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things, I guess in New York they like to sacrifice chickens during certain ceremonies that a certain sects have. So I'm not going to go into who does that, but anyway, that's one of the problems. Now Israel funds Hamas and U.S. funds Israel.
Yeah. So I couldn't find the article, but just brought this article up so it's sort of like, back like under Obama, where we find out later that they're funding the enemy to help accomplish a goal. And you would know a lot more about this for sure, where they'll fund your enemy to overcome another enemy. And so they'll fund the enemy to overcome a greater enemy. And it's like these it's like surrogate enemies. And then once that enemy is overcome, then the enemy you funded is also still your enemy. And a lot of times a worse enemy. And that's kind of what the Hamas thing is about, where Israel funded Hamas to accomplish certain things in the Middle East. And then, and it's amazing. So they can't like not touch anything. And of course, we know that tens of billions of dollars freebies a year go into Middle East state of Israel and in military, all kinds of stuff. So like at the heart of it is back to this deep state apparatus that just funds chaos and war everywhere all the time. And so like even the future enemies, like when I look, Michael, at like especially Chinese technology, aircraft and stuff like that, I'm like, that's like, as little kids, you're like copying each other's model airplanes. It's like they just must have been handed US technology. So it's like creating future enemies is like how I see it.
Hmm.
Because when I was a little boy, just 50 years ago, China was nothing. 60 years ago, they couldn't even make a car, you know, and the poverty was so huge there. So then this banking, this internet, these international cartels then start taking commerce and manufacturing offshore to China because it's pennies on the dollar, and then they create a whole new enemy over time.
Wow. So here's a gentleman saying that I have friends here in Canada dropping like flies from the jabs. So
Oh,
is
bro,
it any different in Canada for some reason? I mean, we're there's certain places that are like that.
yeah,
It's from certain places where they did the compromise Jabberdoos, and other places they weren't because they didn't want to have everybody drop in. Then people wouldn't get the jabs, or they would go, oh, you guys are killing us. So they've
yeah,
segregated it so it would just target certain areas.
yeah,
I remember at one point they were like targeting Republican states, and I don't know if that's true or not, but
right, right.
um, what are your thoughts on all that?
Well, like to your just your last comment, Republican states are generally the conservative American has a history that goes back to scriptures and God. And even if we don't recognize that, the whole constitutional concept and the belief that we have in America is very unique. So we still have like sort of a cowboy mentality where don't tell me what to do, I'm free and that kind of thing. And so Canada doesn't quite have that same mentality. They've stayed under a monarchy, and so they still more submissive than Americans are,
Hmm.
which is what the world really loved about Americans, like that freedom. When when America was born, the entire world was under dictatorships, communism, and monarchies that were like super dictatorial and evil. That's what brought all our brothers and our forefathers here. And so we still have that where we're more resistant. We still love that the ideas, the experiment that we had here with the Constitution and with the scriptures and that kind of thing. So I think they've more readily accepted the jab under their sort of threats and stuff like that was worse up there. And it breaks my heart to hear that, his family and friends are dying. But we've seen that. It's kind of like generally it's been a delayed reaction. And the longer it goes, the more we've seen scientists that have come out and whistleblown say that the closer we get to 27, 25, like even you said, 25 is the year this thing's going to pop hard. And I agree. And we're seeing it now. Even though
Yeah.
we're toward the end of the year, 26 is going to be probably twice as bad as far as the shot magnitude death toll goes.
Yeah, all the virologists, the good ones, said that it would take about 3 years for people to really start to get hit hard from
Yeah.
the vaccination, because it's basically decreasing your immune ability. But I am looking at the numbers; they're pretty much the same as the United States. The United States, I think, was like 79%, and Canada was 81.1%. Who knows where and how they got those figures? But and some European countries, it was like close to 100%. Israel, I think, was close to 100%. So that was one of the
Crazy.
reasons why the Israelis were on a massively demonstrating against the Netanyahu regime, and then the war started. So, and then they have full.
Yeah.
You have a problem. Any government that has a problem, they start a war. So that just seems to be what happened with them.
So 80% is staggering by itself, just to think that 80%
It's
of all the people that we've helped clinically, um, many of them just took one and then they realized that was a huge mistake.
mhm.
Yeah. Brian lost a few friends also in Ontario. Oh, Ontario, California. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's Canada.
So it's widespread and just globally, like probably there's probably going to be hundreds of millions, if not billions. And it's, of course, not reported except through channels like yours and other truthers that are discovering this and revealing it to everybody. But it's definitely a pestilence. Yeah, it's a curse.
It's a
It's a
pestilence.
kill project.
But
Yeah,
like,
right.
we've talked about there's ways to overcome it. We got it in the shop, Intuitive Wellness Shop.
Yeah,
There's a video about, how to get it out of your body. So it may take a lot
right.
of sessions for you to suck all that poison out of your system, but
Yeah,
it's the same for any vaccination. You can detox yourself from any vaccination. So it is a real possibility, but you have to know in your mind, you have to admit in your mind that there is a problem with the vaccination first, and that's just not going to happen for most people, unfortunately.
and also, Michael, that especially it's important that for those of you who feel like it's caused you problems, that's different. It's easier to be motivated to do something to remove it or to fix it. But if you don't feel anything, I hope you'll trust me that you still have to get it out, because it's gonna show up at some point in your future. It's a chronic degradatory. It's just chronically attacks your immune system, replicates itself. So they're kind of like a curvature of your health that will start declining. It's just, unless you got a saline, which may be possible. I can't say that I've seen that, but it's possible. So even if you don't feel like something's wrong, take care of it anyway if you got the shot. Yeah.
Or if you believe that you got a vitamin B shot, you're good. But if you got a vaccine, I would not risk it. So if you got a vaccine shot for anything, I would not, just roll the dice and say, I got the vitamin B shot. I'm good. All right. So, it's up to you. There are ways to detox your body, many ways, many natural ways. And then, of course, we have the one in the shop. So many problems out there in the world now. The WHO concealing cell phone cancer explosion.
Yeah, this is unreal. This was from Natural News. Scientists accuse the World Health Organization of downplaying cell phone cancer risks, which are also exploding. And the brain cancer rates since cell phones have been rolled out has been like several 100% of increases over time. And so it showed that these scientists were showing the reports that they concluded that the WHO itself is like the WHO is putting out information that's very flawed and not reporting on the true, like everything else, not reporting on the true nature of the cell phone. And I even contend, and we can talk about this in the future, that these towers that are going up and being erected everywhere, that we've probably falsely labeled them as cell phone towers, and it looks like they're actually Gwen towers, which is a really like hardcore spy network of mapping and tracking and tracing everything that we do all the time, as well as putting out toxic EMF frequencies that are degenerative, like strongly damaging, cancer inducing, cancer promoting, and cancer causing. So if you're already sick and you don't have it harmonized, or maybe you're not using like the patches, then it's going to promote everything wrong. And they can even push through frequencies that are infectious in nature. And we've showed videos a long time ago, you and I, about the guys like from COVID in China that were falling down, just dropping dead. And that was not a virus. That was from the cell phone network or the Gwen towers being pushed out hardcore. And so just to make people aware, we had some fun. I'm going to come back to you so I can like tell a couple stories, if that's okay.
Oh yeah.
So when I got to see you, that was awesome, the other day at the LifeWave convention. Mm-hmm. On the Saturday. So that was a lot of fun. And so when I got there, I was kind of waiting for everybody to come out of the convention. It was about lunchtime. That's when I arrived. And the first thing that happened was this guy walked up to me. I was trying to reserve a table for you guys and just hanging out waiting. This guy comes up to me and he says, "I have a question about LifeWave." I said, "Well, I'll do what I can to help you." So he said, "I've asked a lot of my upline," and he said, "I've been a user for 2 years and I've asked around." He said, "And I can't get a good answer why I've used it for 2 years and I don't really feel anything." And I said, "Well, you came to the right guy, because I've been using it for 2 years too, and I don't feel anything either. But let me tell you something." So then I had this really awesome opportunity where I took all his patches off. He was faithful to use them. He just was waiting to feel something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "So when you go to bed at night, do you still feel the sun? Um, when your wife goes to sleep, do you feel like love?" So it's like we're so in tune to like having to experience something, otherwise it's not working. And I'm telling you, and I showed him. So we get to do the test that you and I get to do on the water. We get to do with his patches. So we took all his patches off. We went to C7, which is the bone metabolism point right up on the seventh vertebrae, the cervical vertebrae. And his was weak, and he did have some health issues. And we started putting his patches back on, and then it came back coherent to firm pressure all the way down the center line, prostate, sacrum, everything. So it was really cool. He got to feel it for the first time. So his experience, and he was kind of going with that test. He was like, "This is amazing. Wow." So that was like really fun to just walk on campus where you guys were at and just start testing people and show him that it's working, even though it's working even though he doesn't feel it. He may feel it in time, he may never feel it. I don't have to feel it, because I get to test it and I get these eyes to see the energy dimension where I know that it's working.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we did the water test, I always loved to, because I think we've done the patches before. I know we've done the harmonizer. We did that. We've done that before, and that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But we did the water machine. So for me, I had some skin cancer issues. I had to have some, pieces cut out first time. So I've been going to dermatologists for the last quarter century, and they're like, freeze it off, and then they gave me some paste and stuff. I put the paste on it. It's does the same thing, just burns it off. So I was able to do that for a long time, but then it became ineffective. So they went in and like started doing the cutting. Not fun, not good. And I think I ended up spending about, because my health care through the military didn't cover the doctors that were the best. So I just paid out of pocket. Fortunately, I was able to do that, and it ended up being around $5,000 for all the stuff I had done.
Okay.
And I was looking at it, and I was like, that was just round one. I'm going to go through some more of this.
Yeah.
Then I got the water machine, and the water machine has turned all of it around. And we did the coherence test on that, and it was positive. So when I took the water and you did the coherence test, I was very strong.
Yeah.
Before that, not so much. And then with it, yes. And some other areas, you had the same thing. You took the water. You had some good results.
Right.
Your identified mom so had some issues. She did the water. It was good for her. So there's frequencies out there that help us, and we don't always see them. We don't always feel it. But for me, visually, I could see the difference. For the first time in 25 years, I don't have really any skin issues right now.
Yeah.
And that's because of the water machine. But of course, I use the patches, so that's helped me, and it's gotten me to a certain point where I think other things help as well. So other products I've used from the store have helped. have continued me forward and so forth in a lot of other areas. So I imagine, for me, the water machine was around 5,000. So I'm not going to have to spend that money again on skin cancer, getting removed from my body.
Right, right.
So think about that, guys, because I know a lot of people talk about, it's like $99 a month to use X39. I don't know, and I don't see the results. I don't feel the results, but like you showed with the frequency, test, it's definitely happening. So a lot of us don't realize that we have a lot of issues going on in our bodies. I've talked to, I have so many people that have come in and have had a miracle results. Now I know that I saw that amazing video of the little boy that came into your clinic, and Denise Love basically did the HAT protocol on him. That was beyond a miracle.
Yeah,
oh my God. I don't know if you can speak a little bit about that. I know he's going to come on the Monday Miracle Show, or his parents are on Monday, and talk about it. You want to mention anything about that?
Yeah. Can I just do a couple more little stories about the convention real quick? But I want, I do
sure,
want to do
of course.
I'd like to even sort of talk about the water too thing. So,
Mhm.
so just so you came for lunch and then we hung out, and then after you took off, there was still like 10, 12 people around the table. And so I got a chance. It was really neat. So they were part of your team, part of the listening family, and I'd never met them before, and they all knew who I was from the show, and that was really neat. Got to interact with them, and
nice.
And so we started testing. We took off all their patches, and some of them, actually most all of them, had the harmonizers. And so this was a first for them too, where we got to the same test that you and I do. They each got to test. And so we just had a lot of fun together, just kind of getting to know each other and loving on each other. They were awesome, but they all got to feel it. And they were like, this is amazing. They got to experience the EMF harmonizer on their phone and what it did without it and with it. And also they got to experience in the test the patches and what they did and where they went to, and some of their health issues that they were affecting. We got to test some of those. So we just had a fun for like 30, 40 minutes with probably 10 people. It was just a lot of fun to be able to do that. And I would then, jumping back to when you and I we didn't have much time, so we kind of ran. We started putting his patches back on, and then amazing. So a couple of thoughts I have about the water is that normally where there's like it's like in your case where we tested the surgery points and probably the diagnosis was a form of skin cancers. Like when we see that genetic aberrancy, it's very well. I haven't seen water bring that on ever. And I've even developed my own water system that's really amazing, but I haven't seen water bring coherence to like a cancer site in the scalp and stuff like that. So that was like very amazing to see the water brought to coherence, all of those points that we tested it on. But significantly so was like your scalp, and of course a couple spots on my body that we tested as well, that tested coherence. So just as a reminder, what coherence looks like to a practical healing perspective is that the quantum physicists like Fritz Popp, Roger Penrose, and others, that they have said that when coherence to the body is restored, and that's everything that we're talking about all the time. That's our goal with you and I, that when coherence is restored to the body, that the healing capacity of the body becomes limitless. And so that's amazing. So we can then jump into this beautiful little boy who's, was diagnosed with having a genetic aberrancy. He had a gene that doesn't exist, and quasi, just not functional. Just beautiful kid who's just not functional. So Denise had this idea after the weekend to go ahead and run this a protocol in his hat and put it on his head, and then we'll start testing it. Like she wants to do a documentary for everybody and you guys and Michael especially, and then sort of track this little guy. So she puts on we test his entire head field, nightmare as far as coherence goes. So it's the whole head field energetically is in chaos.
What is it that he actually is afflicted with?
I forget the gene that's missing, a mutated genetic thing in his body. And, you know, I have some questions about that myself. What is genetic versus what is toxic,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But it's a missing gene. And when Denise talks about it, probably on Monday, she'll be able to, the parents will be there, so they'll identify exactly which one that it's missing.
Okay.
So I just was,
So
I had,
he's in a wheelchair. He
yeah,
doesn't talk. He doesn't really get around. And so she
very,
wants to try the
yeah.
HAP protocol on him.
So she tried the HAP protocol on him, put it on his head, and then his entire head field and down his sacrum and everything's tested, was now testing high resonance,
You tested
high,
him again, yeah.
high coherence. And within 10 minutes, you guys, he was looking for me. He got up out of his wheelchair and his eyes were like focusing on stuff. And we've never seen that. His eyes would just kind of drift around and he'd hold his head and stuff like that. He was looking at us, looking for me. They had to keep him out of my office because I was testing other people. And it was just beautiful to watch. There was like a new glow, and the focal points in his eyes were incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was like, you guys, that was 10 minutes.
Yeah, I saw the video. That's beyond a miracle. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was really amazing. So
that's interesting thing about the patches creating coherence like that in someone. How long? I guess he's been afflicted that way since birth.
Since birth, yeah.
Wow. And how old is he? Like 10 or?
He's probably 6, 7.
6 or 7. Okay.
Yeah. Precious little family, you know.
Yeah, real sweet.
Energy that goes into this little guy is just tremendous. So I have like a big heart for you guys who are vaccine injured babies and stuff. It's amazing commitment. But it was just amazing to see his changes in 10 minutes. It was very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully we get to share the videos on that. But I know, like you said, Denise is going to do a documentary. That'd be kind of cool. So we'll see, over time how it helps them or whatever. So that's good. Yeah. So any last you want to talk about how about that Trudy case? That sounds interesting.
Trudy was an amazing case. We did the body scan first instead of the oral scan, and so she presented with, Michael, there were cysts that showed up like in days, like these huge red cysts with like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen like hard cystic, like pervasive acne. It's what it looked like, but it was like in her eye, inside the eyelid and at the top of the eye, extremely painful, like an eye cyst would be. And pus was oozing out of these cysts into her eye. So it was like horrible. Yeah. And so doctors put her on antibiotics and they were like, we don't know what's wrong. Did tests, we don't know what's wrong. We can't find what's wrong. Kept her on antibiotics and it wasn't doing anything. It was actually just getting worse. So I said, let's put you into the oral scans and I'll take a look there. And unbelievable. So we found 6. This was big. We found 6 super infected old root canals. And so she ran in like an emergency and had them all extracted. And it's been like 10 days and her eyes are not, the pus is gone. She's already healing those abscesses. And so it's like amazing. And she walked, she told us yesterday because the oral and the body scans are all online. And she said, it was really beautiful. She said, oh, and she's also highly patched, you guys. She's patched like three different patches, but she said, you saved my life. And she like knows it. And so we're going to get a chance to show our next scan with her, how that has affected her breast health as well. And she's like, I can't wait. So we're going to show her the genetics and then show her the influence of those oral health issues to her breast. Because I told her, I said, I guarantee you, if you let this go on much longer, you would be told you had breast cancer. And so Trudy's like just an amazing lady. And I'm just like, everybody, like, kudos to you guys, like Linda, Derek, and others that are part of the oral scans. You guys are awesome. And I want to say hello. So yeah, Trudy was one of those amazing cases. Like, it was unreal. I've really never seen anything quite like that, where both her eyes had pus leaking into the eyeball that was not being able to be even touched with antibiotics. That was a really precious story for me to see that all the time. That's kind of my everyday, you guys. So I love it. That's why I smile a lot.
Outstanding. Yeah, that's good. So the links to everything is down in the description box. You can always get those on these shows. There's a special $500. You spend $500 in the store and get free Ultra Cleanse Detox Clay it's an $80 value for free. And so, anything else you want to talk about before we sign off?
And if you guys are interested, we still have the special on the EMF family pack. If you get that, you get the intro to an oral scan. So you get an intro means you get an overall scan, so you know what's happening in your mouth, you know where. And then if you want to move on to the detailed oral scan, then you get $300 off. So we'll give you that discount as well. But if you just want the oral or the body scan, like if you have a digestive issue or a kidney issue or a reproductive issue or a lung issue, you can get that, either one of those, and you just put it in when you grab the family pack. Just put in, I want the oral or I want the body. And then love you too, Georgie girl. Thank you. We all love Michael. Thank you, brother. So yeah, we're out there trying to help everybody on the front lines, and like, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yep. So a lot of good to be had with the store and LifeWave, of course. Denise has got her link down there if you want to join with Denise. Of course, with Denise, you get the the information that we're talking about too. That's really good. So outstanding show. Thanks a lot, Raphael.
Yeah, good to be with you guys. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys next time.
See you next time.